Vinyl Joe. The man spinning vintage vinyl records back into Melbourne homes. The Vinyl Joe collection is a good reminder that vinyls are finally back and for good. So, whether you have one of those vintage vinyl record players sitting in your living room or not, I just want you to know that people are now collecting vinyl records to play on their good old players. Since the invention of vinyl records in 1948, vinyl records have now managed to emerge again. They are fast becoming one of the most sought-after vintage items. The classic vinyl player was once backed by Columbia Records. So, what exactly are vinyl records? Vinyls are made from PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Vinyl is actually clear in its natural form. Because of this, vinyl records can be manufactured in just about any color imaginable. However, the color black is the most commonly found of vinyl record finish, despite the endless possibility of color choices. So, what genres of music are usually recorded on vinyl? Well, I would say, just about any type of music. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to this channel to view interesting videos on locally owned vintage arts and crafts businesses in Melbourne. Today, we would look at vintage vinyl records and the folds who helped to remove the old tradition of vinyl players. Vinyl Joe, one of Melbourne's avid collectors of vintage vinyl records, has in his possession an array of good old music you may only dream about. From the pioneers and legends of rock and roll such as Elvis Presley, Billy Joel, Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Cash, and more. Then there are the groups such as the Beatles, the Carpenters and the Supremes. Discover overseas and local Burn music stars such Marcia Hines, David Bowie, Rod Stewart, Elton John, and Dionne Warwick. In fact, Vinyl Joe is an emerging name in the vintage vinyl records collection community here in Melbourne. Down to earth, but with a vibrant heart for vintage collections, he holds on to some of the most popular rock and roll collections from as far back as the 1950s. Talking about the very things which bring sparks of smiles to his face, Joe says his love for rock music started back in Europe in his late teens when he helped his cousin as he toured with his band. After Joe migrated to Australia, he continued his passion for good old music by widening his tastes for vintage music. Vinyls are easy to handle and store, Joe says. Aside, Vinyl Joe now holds one of the most diverse collections of stamps. But I guess vintage vinyl are his true heartstrings. You need to see his collection to believe it. You will be truly immersed in the world of rock music and legends who capture the music world. Joe is truly an avid collector of unique vinyl records in Melbourne. Contact Vinyl Joe on via acoscreative@hotmail.com today to book a viewing. Vinyl Joe Records was at the Abbotsford Convent last Saturday. New to Melbourne markets culture, but a long-time avid collector of old-time vinyl records. Joe is truly traditional at heart. For a quick message, just use acoscreative@hotmail.com. You could be listening to Elton John on vinyl record in no time from the comfort of your home. One of Melbourne's largest vintage vinyl records shop is Licorice by Records. Established in 2002, the shop now has a huge collection of new and second vinyl collections. Licorice by Records sells hundreds of vinyl records from notable artists such as Jimmy Barnes and Elvis Presley. Discover vintage rock and roll, blues and jazz records of the 1970s through to the year 2000. Not subscribed yet? Please subscribe and put the notifications button on so that you will not miss any of our ethical print or videos. Licorice by Records have made a name beyond Collingwood, Perry Street. They are one of Melbourne's avid collectors of vintage and contemporary vinyl. They have in stock optical disc, CD mini vinyl and more. David happens to be the mastermind behind Licorice by Records. If it's more than a pie, that does it for you. Why not give David and his team a call at 9510-40800. Send these guys an email them at david@licoriceby.com. If this year is when you begin collecting vintage vinyl records, then Joe Vinyl and Licorice by Records are your two best places to check out. Find their details in the description below.
I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's different from what I usually post on handmade jewelry, but focuses on recycling and doing little things to help save our environment. I would like you to continue shopping small and local. Buy from creatives who use sustainable processes such as using recycled materials. To shop ethically, do visit Smith Street, or simply check my website at acoscreative.com. If you would like more videos like this, kindly show your support and subscribe to this channel. Also like and share our videos. Until next time, it's goodbye. Keep the festive season merry, with some good old tracks.